My name is Vipin Kumar, and this is a second tutorial on the Vagrant tool series for the YouTube channel. In this tutorial, we are going to cover what is the Vagrant file, how to create a single Apache VM from the Vagrant file, how to create and launch multiple VMs from the Vagrant file, and advanced Vagrant file demonstration. So I have uploaded the example VM files on my GitHub account for your reference. You can go ahead and download these Vagrant file for the demonstration or for your reference. So that is uh, that is a location of my Vagrant. This is location for my GitHub account. I have uploaded three Vagrant files. Vagrant example 01 for the single VM creation. Vagrant example 02 is for multiple VM creation, and Vagrant example 03 for the advanced Vagrant file demonstration. So, what is the Vagrant? What is the Vagrant file? So, Vagrant file is a simple text file that is written in Ruby, and this text file is read by the Vagrant tool in order to what need to be done to create your working environment. It means that what is operating system you want to load for your virtual machine. What is your system resource you are defining for your virtual machine, what is the software you want to install on your virtual machine, etc. So we will see the structure of the Vagrant file. So every project has a single VM file. It means that you can launch a single VM from for a project, or you can create or launch multiple VMs for a project from the Vagrant file. We will see both the scenario. So let's see first scenario where we want to launch a single VM from the Vagrant file. So let's create a project in your choice location. I have created a project called single VM on my location, and I am going to initiate the Vagrant file for this project. I am using the PowerShell this time. You can use Cygwin or PowerShell in your for your choice, but I'm using the PowerShell this time. So let me initiate the Vagrant file. Okay, the Vagrant file has been created on my location. This is Vagrant file created. So this is a default Vagrant file. All the lines are commented, or all the parameters are commented in, except line number 8 and line number 15. Let's delete all the content from this file, and we can take the content from my file for the demonstration purpose or reference purpose. So line number 1 to 7 basically tells a story about the Vagrant file, what is the Vagrant file, and what is the software or language using in the Vagrant file. So we can see the Vagrant file is written in Ruby, and we are using the version 2. Version 1 is outdated, absoluted. No one is using the version 1. Version 2 is more stable and mature. So all the like most of 99% people using version 2. Version 3 is in progress, and it is available soon for everyone. So line number 8, line number 8 from line number 8 to line number 21 is a simple block for the configuration for your VMs. And line number 9, we are creating a LDAP variable for the VM configuration. So your VM name will be LDAP. So we are assigning all the configuration file for the LDAP VM. So line number 10. Line number 10 is we are telling that use the Ubuntu Trusty 64 image to build up the LDAP box. You can use any image of your choice. You can go ahead and search image on the GitHub on the Vagrant Hub repository, or you can use your customized image to build up the box. So line number 11, simply creating a host name for your VM. So in my case, ldap.vipingupta.com or vipin.com is a host name for my VM. Line number 12. Line number 12 is basically a function, and the function we are passing the parameters dot ldap, vagrant root, and nfs. So we are telling the vagrant, hey, create a folder, or create a or sync a folder from the host to guest, and so that we can transfer the file from host to guest and guest to host. Dot means that it is a default location where my vagrant file is located. In my case, the folder will be a single VM. So this folder going to be mapped on the host machine uh, on the LDAP mount, and this shared folder going to be available for the vagrant and root user, and type nfs. So line number 13 is basically for the network. The Vagrant provide a excellent support for the network. It provides a support for the host only, or bridge network, overlay network. It is supporting multiple ways to support the network. So in my case, I'm using a private network and assigning a static IP address on my VM. So line number 13, it is a port forwarding. It means that port are going to be open from host machine to the guest machine. For example, if the Tomcat Apache running on port 8080 and developer wants to test their application on host browser, then they can access the application on port 80, and it is going to redirect on port 8080 on the guest machine. Autocorrect equal to true means that if there is a port port glitch or conflict, then it is going to autocorrect automatically. And line number 15 is saying that provision my VM before it is going to hand over to me. It means that run the shell script in the background, or run the shell script to set up the Apache installation instruction are given in provision.sh file, and it is going to be install the Apache and hand over to us before during the Vagrant up process. And the Vagrant the provision.sh file are located in same folder. This is my provision.sh file that is located on same folder for the project. So these are few lines to install the Apache. It is simple bash script. I am not going to in detail what lines are doing what. And last one is we are saying that use the virtual box as a provider for launch the LDAP VM. So the provider can be VMware, it can be AWS, it can be Google, it can be anything. So by default, the Vagrant tools support the VirtualBox, maybe due to because it is a free of use, no license required. But line number 16, we are saying that LDAP VM going to use or host on the VirtualBox, and the and this machine going to have 2 CPU and 2 gig RAM uh, for the virtual box, or LDAP VM. So this is common parameters, or most parameters. 99% people using this configuration. There are hundreds of the configuration you can use in the Vagrant file, but this is the simplest and most efficient Vagrant file content. You can go ahead and use in your, or you can create a template for your developers or for your team. So let's save it and launch it. So each and every steps are going to read by Vagrant in Vagrantfile. It is going to launch my VM based on the Vagrant file. It is booting up. It is almost ready. Even you can read the Vagrant up command logs. You will see each and every step what is it is doing. So you can see each and everything's in the console, what is the process are running and what has been completed with this logs. So you can see here, setting the host name, configure enabling the network interface, mounting share folders, running provision cell means look at here, it is going to install Apache. It is going to download it on the machine and setting it up to me because it is running a shell script in the background. So it is taking some time because it is going to download Apache software and setting up before handover to me. So it depends on your network or internet speed, because it is required to download the Apache software on your virtual machine and setting up everything and make sure that Apache is running on your machine before give the prompt for your VM creation. So keep patience and let's get it complete. whatever. Let's see status is running. So looks like it was stuck, but it is saying that it is running. Let's make sure. So we will see each and every steps. So Vagrant SSH. Okay. So okay, first we are seeing host name. It is saying LDAP. That is fine. IP address A. This is the IP address which we gave it in our Vagrant file, and these are folders that is getting synchronized from here. So right now you can see here there are two files, and I can access these files here. If I create here touch txt helloworld.txt, so it is touch command. Okay. If I do ls command, and if I go here, this file, I can find this file here because it is getting sync from host machine to the guest machine. So you can see here, and last thing we can confirm that Apache is running or not. So as we mentioned that we can access the Apache on port 80 from port 8080. So here it means that Apache is running, and I'm accessing the Apache on port 80, but the Apache running on port 8080 on this machine. I'm not going show or demonstrate how does the Apache works. It was simply a demonstration how you can provision the Apache during the Vagrant up process. We can have the next or some class on the Apache and Tomcat, but this demonstration showing that we can launch. We already launched the VM from the Vagrant file, and with all the parameters which we define in the Vagrant file. Also, we set up the Apache during the Vagrant up process for the VMs. So everything is accurate. Everything is accurate. Everything is accurate according our plan. So this is demonstration to launch a single VM from the Vagrant file. Next we are going to set up or launch multiple VMs from the single VM file. So let's destroy it. We don't need anymore now. You know the command? Yes, that is a command. I don't need it. Yes. And meantime, let's create another project that is called multiple VMs. We are going to use this project to demonstrate how to launch multiple VMs from single Vagrant file. So let's go ahead here and let's clear. So let's initiate the Vagrant file and go to in my GitHub account and go back example 2 and let's get it. So this command created a Vagrant file in my project folder. This is my project folder for multiple VMs. So if I do edit, let's delete it and add this content. So I am doing nothing. I am just uh, uh, I'm just duplicate the Vagrant or duplicate the virtual machine configuration values for for two times. You can use three times, you can use four times. It means that the Vagrant will look at the first configuration for the LDAP. It is going to it is going to do launch your first LDAP VM, and and then after that it is going to look at another configuration. Here I just gave the name. Here is LDAP, here LDAP 1. So there is no conflict between the name. The name should be different. So Vagrant is going to launch two machine with the name LDAP and with the name LDAP 1. So Vagrant is going to read line number 8 to line number 20 and launch one VM, and Vagrant look at another configuration, configuration block for the LDAP 1 VM, line number 22, line number from line number 22 to 22 to 34, and create another VM for the LDAP 1. And here port we are giving port 40, here 241, and I'm saying that here you can say LDAP1. That is fine. Anything can be, and you can give any name here, and the port, the IP address 240 241. Here I am saying that the port will be 8080, and here is, let's make autocorrect 8081, and the resource to CPU 2 gig RAM, and save it. And if I execute it here, I am creating two VMs. So let's see how does it work. So right now if you see, it is saying bringing machine, like we are bringing two machine. One is LDAP, one is LDAP1 with the provider virtual box, and this is a image for the box. So if you look at very carefully each and every command or value on the screen, you will see what is happening and what is the running and what is the pending. So let's wait it. So it is saying that LDAP 1 or LDAP VM is almost ready, and it will take up, it will pick up LDAP 1 after this VM creation. So look at here, for the LDAP 1 we were using the Ubuntu, and LDAP 1 for using CentOS 7. So you can define or you can use a different image in the same Vagrant file for the different VMs. I'm using Ubuntu for LDAP and CentOS 7 for LDAP 1 VM. See here, and you can also verify here. I'm using CentOS 7 for LDAP 1, and I'm using LDAP for LDAP I'm using the Ubuntu machine. So it means that it is not necessary that you have to provide same image name for multiple VMs in a single VM. You can, you can define different image, you can define different resource like RAM or CPU, IP address. Suppose that you are going to set up a multi VM environment for your developers, and they required some of the VMs need more system resource compared to others. So you can, you can give more resource from A to B or C, and you can give the less resource for EDF. So it depends on your requirement, but you can modify each and every setting in the Vagrant file for the multi VM process. Basically, CentOS image trying to, make upgrade or update the LDAP VM with the latest update that is released by the, CentOS 7 Community Edition. So it is trying to do everything before handover to me. So your CentOS machine is getting up to date with the latest uh, security patches, hot fixes, and kernel updates. So it is good before it is going to the production environment or development environment, and after, you know uh, sometime after after installation and configuration of the application and doing the updates, we can have the interval, because it can be your application can be break. So it is best idea, keep your machine up to date before hand over to your developers, so that they can they can build up their application on the up to date kernel version. So it is getting almost ready. It is now ready. So we have build up or launch two VMs from single file. Let's see the status. Both the VMs are ready. You can launch or you can go ahead and log in any of the VM. I'm not going I'm not going on each and every VM and show each and everything same settings, same same value. But at this point, at this point, yeah, at this point, your both the VMs are ready to use. And we have seen the demonstration how to launch multiple VMs from the Vagrant file. So it is ready now. Let's destroy it. I don't require it. So if I go ahead, destroy. Okay, so we have seen two demonstration how to use uh, Vagrant file to create a single file and how to use Vagrant file to create multiple VMs. In the last demonstration, I am showing you some advanced Vagrant file. Uh, we can launch we can launch how many VMs we want without making the duplicate entry of the VM configuration. Let's see how we can do it. If you look at the Vagrant if you look at the Vagrant file of or directory on the GitHub, the example number 3 is talking about the same thing. So let me go ahead and create another project that is called maybe we can say dynamic. Okay, and if I launch or if I do init from this folder to create a simple or sample Vagrant file. Same steps we are going to follow. Let's delete it and copy from my Vagrant from my GitHub account. So if I go ahead and delete it, and here my file is there. Okay, so look at here. Again, I am launching two VM. One is Jenkins Web and Jenkins App, but I am not uh, uh, writing duplicate configuration for each and everything. I am using the advanced Ruby version to build up multiple VMs without duplicating the configuration setting. So this is line number 4. Line number 4 is saying that I want to set up the domain name. Domain name can be anything. In my case, weapon.com. And line number 5 to 8, I am saying that I want to set up two VMs. One is Jenkins Web and Jenkins App, and the IP address IP range will start from 200 and 201. Okay, so 200 and 201, and this is a configuration file. I want to use VM box CentOS 7, but this time I want to use Ubuntu, because CentOS takes some time to download the updates and everything. And line number 13, same thing. I'm not going to explain again. Line number 16, I'm saying that use the port range from 2800 to 2900. It means that remember that we were trying to sync, we were trying to port forwarding. We are specifying very clear message that please use um, port forwarding range from 2800 to 2900. And line number 18 is doing the provisioning. It is doing the provisioning for each and every, every machine. So in my case, two machines. So it is, the first machine will be Jenkins web. So it is taking the, okay, how many times? It is saying that one. If it is saying two, it is going to run by two. But I am saying that run once for the Jenkins web, and the host name will be uh, Jenkins web. So it is going to be Jenkins web, my host name. And config define, like config define, it is saying that make it config define. The host name will be web Jenkins webs, and the dname, so config.vm file equal to hostname will be Jenkins web when it runs first time, and the box hostname will be jenkinsweb.wipin.com. Line number 23, because I am saying the hostname coming from here. The hostname is Jenkins web. The name is coming from here, wipin.com here. And the box set up the host only network or private network, and the range will start 172.16.0 and IP start coming from here. IP start here is 200. Then next time is will be 201. So uh, first box for the Jenkins web will have the IP address 172.16.0.200, and the net mask you can define here. And I'm saying that uh, keep both VMs to use 1 gig RAM and 2 CPU. So okay, sorry, keep it like CPU 1 for the first box, and CPU 2 for the second box. So again, this kind of the, like, you can create nesting arrays, and you can create a complex Ruby. If you are more, developers from the Ruby side, you can use dynamic Ruby version to launch multiple VMs without duplicating configuration entry for your VM. Look at here how it is much simpler. We are creating two web server or two nodes, the IP address 200.201 for node 1 and node 2, and the box image will this, and we are giving the range, port range. So there is no chance for the port conflict with other network or segment, and it is picking up the host name from here. And we the creating the host name uh, with the variables. The host name is the first host name jenkins.web.wipin.com, and the IP address will start from 172.16.0 to 200 and 201. So it is quite useful. You can take this reference, and you can go ahead and launch multiple VMs with using dynamic values. So let's do it. Let's verify how does it work. Does it work or not? So look at here. It is trying to bring two machine, Jenkins web, Jenkins app, which we define here, two nodes, and both the nodes will use Ubuntu image, that is importing the image file, and the port will be here. uh, so there is no conflict, and it is doing this configuration is doing for each and every, you know for every VMs, first for Jenkins web and for second Jenkins app. So Jenkins web VM successfully created. Now it is working on Jenkins apps VM. But I'm sure it is going to be complete. But at this point, we have completed our demonstration uh, in three ways. Uh, Create single VM from Vagrantfile, create multiple VMs from Vagrantfile, Vagrantfile by entering duplicate configuration uh, values or blocks, and third is use the dynamic Vagrantfile or advanced kind of the Vagrantfile to launch multiple VMs without entering duplicate entry for each and every VMs. So this is very useful when you are launching hundreds of VM or more than 100 VMs or maybe more than 50 VMs. You don't require to write down like you don't require to give 50 server configuration again and again, and you will like your Vagrant file will be huge, and you will not be able to manage okay, which one is for which VM. So in that case I would suggest you, if you have requirement to manage or less to manage less than 5 server, then you can enter duplicate duplicate config file for each VM. If you have the requirement to manage more than 10 VMs, go this approach. Uh, uh, Spend your some time with the Ruby and try to make a normalization form or simplest vagrant file with the Ruby. So let's see, where are we here. Both the VMs are ready. Let's verify a couple of settings like hostname and IP address on each and every server, and then we can ramp up this video. So let's go ahead. Vagrant SSH. What is the first name of VM is Jenkins Web. Okay, I'm in, right. 200 same value, Jenkins Web, and 200 we gave the host name and IP address. Start with 172.16.0. We can verify, yes, everything is coming from the Vagrant file. Good. Okay, my god. Okay, so let me go back. I accidentally closed that. By the way, I created some shortcuts on my desktop for Windows for the PowerShell. So you can use the, you can use the PowerShell shortcut and customize the PowerShell for the Vagrant, which one for the production environment, which one for the non-production environment. So I categorize a blue color for the production environment and gray color for the non-production environment. So at least you will be, get some test of idea on which terminal you are working. Are you working for the production terminal or are you working on the non-production environment? But again, it's your choice. Okay, so that is second VM for us. And host name, verify the host name. Yes, we are good. Okay, and IP address. The IP address start uh, from 170.16.0.201, that is coming from here. So at this moment we have covered all three scenario, and that's all from this video. Let me join for the next video for the Vagrant. I am going to set up the or launch the Windows box from the Vagrant. Thank you very much for watching and have a nice day.